Welcome to DCE Digital Learning. Myself Taramani S. Once again welcoming you to one more session, which is session number 10 in Unit 3 of the subject Accounting and Financial Management, which is a subject prescribed for third semester BCA. In this session, let us learn solving problems regarding trial balance. That is, we learn preparing the trial balance. In the previous session, we learnt about the theoretical aspects of trial balance. That is the meaning of trial balance. That is, what is trial balance and what is the need of preparing it, and how to prepare that, and what is the main purpose of preparing this trial balance, what is the use of its preparation, when to prepare this, and certain other features of this trial balance. So in this session, we'll solve problems regarding the same thing. Here, see, the problem is prepare the trial balance from the following for the year ending 31st December 2015. So here we are asked to prepare a trial balance based upon the informations given below, and which are nothing other than the ledger accounts balances. As we learnt in the previous session, all the journal entries will be posted to the concerned ledger accounts initially. Then all the accounts will be balanced, that is balancing of ledger accounts, and those balances, it is being taken out here in this form. And here our duty is to recognize that is these accounts, whether they will be showing debit or credit balances. And there is a format given that is for preparation of the trial balance, where we have to write. So here our knowledge lies in that is classifying the items, whether they show debit balances or credit balances. The problem here given is the items capital account. I told it is a liability, so credit balance. Stock of goods account, it is an asset. So debit, motor car, all assets are debit balances, I have told you. So motor car, then cash at bank, cash in hand, like that. Then all expenses and losses are debit balances. All losses and expenses. So bad debts, then rent is an expense, carriage is an expense, like that. So we have to identify each and every item, that is accounts balances, whether it will be showing at the end debit or credit balances, and we have to prepare this trial balance. So our knowledge lies in classifying whether it is an expense, loss or income or gain, whether it is an item of asset or liability. And that knowledge is just sufficient enough to prepare the trial balance. So this is the format of the trial balance. The heading should always be like this: trial balance as on or as at, because trial balance is prepared not for a particular period but as on a particular date, or as at a particular date. So it will be as on or as at, not definitely for the period ending like that you write certain accounts. No, it's not like that. As on or as at 31st December 2015. And the format of the trial balance is like this: serial number, that is just 1, 2, 3, 4 up to how many number of accounts we have are given in the sum. Then names of the ledger accounts, ledger folio, debit and credit. So folio is the page number. Then debit column, we have to write the accounts balances which are showing debit balance, and in the credit column we are writing the amounts against the accounts which show credit balance. So let us start solving this. See, capital account is to show always credit because it's a biggest liability which you have to give it back to our shareholders. Then stock accounts, then motor car, both are real accounts, are assets. Then discount received. If you have received any kind of discount from anybody, this is an item of income. So credit all incomes and gains. So it has to be credited. Then bad debts is an item of loss. That means we have sold some goods to some purchaser on credit. That means now he becomes our debtor because he has to pay us. But unfortunately, he has not paid us back money promptly. So that is what we call bad debts. So bad debts is a loss. So debit all losses and expenses. Then sales. Sales is an item of income. So credit all incomes or gains. Or if you treat it as a real account, goods credit what goes out. So in both the ways it has to be credited. Then cash at bank is a real account, asset. All assets account are debited. So cash at bank. Then returns inwards. Yes, returns inwards means goods, in simple words, sales returns. See, if it is sales, see in the sixth item, it is written on the credit side, right? And I have explained like why it has to be on the credit side. And sales returns means whatever the goods we have sold, a part of it has been returned to us. They sent it back to us means goods are coming in. It is opposite of sales returns. When we sell goods, goods are going out, right? So out of the sold goods, if a part of the same thing is coming back, that is what we call sales returns or returns inwards, which is just the opposite of sales. So debit that. Cash in hand is an asset. So real account. Rent account is debited because it is an expense. Then discount allowed account. If you have allowed discount to somebody, it is a loss to you. So debit all losses and expenses. So be a little careful regarding discount. See in the fourth item discount received, and in the 11th discount allowed. Discount always they are not one and the same thing. Received and allowed both are different. If you have received discount from anybody else, it is an income, so credit that. Credit all incomes and gains. And if you have allowed discount to somebody, it is a loss to you, so debit all losses and expenses. And in the same way, certain times commission will also be there. Commission paid and commission received, something like that, and you have to be a bit careful regarding such things. And certain times what happens is they won't give the full name like discount received, discount allowed, or commission paid, or commission received, something like that. They will just name the account, commission account, and within bracket credit, means write it on the credit side. Commission account within bracket debit, means write it on the debit side. Then carriage account is an expense, so debit expenses and losses. Then plant, furniture, both are assets, debit. One more, the first one, 13th one, purchases. Purchases is an expense. When you purchase goods, it is an expense, you have to pay it. So expenses, nominal account, debit. Or else, if you treat it as goods account, when you purchase, goods are coming in and it is your asset. In that case also, debit what comes in? Debit all assets. So in both the ways, if you treat purchases or sales, even if as real account or maybe even as nominal account, the accounting effect will be one and the same. Then wages account is an expense, debit. Creditors, credit. Yeah, one more thing. Creditors account you have to credit. You have to write it on the credit side. Debtors account you have to write it on the debit side. Then salaries. Salaries is an expense, debit. Commission, credit. See, it has come now. Commission credit means undoubtedly write it on the credit side. Then returns outwards 1000. See, returns outwards means there was a transaction, and out of the transaction goods are returning, and at the time of returning it is going outwards, means we are sending it back. We are sending it back means out of the purchases we have made, we are sending back a portion of the purchases to the person who sold it to us. So it is nothing other than purchases returns, right? Returns outwards means purchases returns. See, in the first account in this page, in this slide, purchases is debited. So opposite of that is returns outwards, which means purchases returns, put it on the credit side. Then debtors account debit, write the amount in the debit column. General expenses nominal account, debit expenses, interest received account. If you have received any kind of interest from anybody, it is an item of income for you. So any kind of incomes or expenses, incomes or gains. Incomes or gains means credit, right? Have clarification on this. Debit expenses and losses, right? Credit incomes and gains. And interest received is an item of income for you, credit that. And advertisement, and if you are spending on advertisement of your company, the products or services, it is an item of expense for you. So you have to write it undoubtedly on the debit side. So after writing the amounts in the corresponding columns, okay, like starting from this, you have to start like this and end with writing all the items given in the problem. So take care you are not missing even a single account that is given in the problem. So better to write it in an order so that not even a single account is missing. And after that make totals, and which is here 76,700 on both the sides. This is what we call tallying of the trial balance. That means total of the debit balance column and total of the credit balance column should be the same at the end. And in this problem, it is 76,700 on both the sides. That is debit balance column and credit balance column. And this is what is we call tallying of the trial balance. And if it is tallied, means arithmetical accuracy is there. But definitely there can be some errors still, but arithmetical accuracy proof is there for us because the trial balance is tallied. Now look at one more sum. Sometimes it will be given like this. The following is a trial balance as on 31st March 98 prepared by an incompetent accountant. That means an accountant who is not so competent enough. He has prepared the trial balance, means he is not so knowledgeable, he is not having knowledge of accountancy, proper knowledge of accountancy, and he has prepared the trial balance like this. And you are asked to rewrite it in its correct form. Okay, so trial balance he has prepared like this, and the debit balances he has shown these accounts along with their amounts, and in the credit balance column he has shown all these. Our duty is to that is check all these things and write it in a proper form, as we have learnt already the pro forma of the trial balance, and see that the trial balance is tallied. See, amount due to Rao, the first account which is showing debit balance. Don't think that it is in account format. Definitely it is not in an accounting format, it is a statement. Debit here means the account showing debit balances. Credit here means on the right side, the account showing credit balance. That's it. See, amount due to Rao. You have borrowed some amount, that is 1400 from Rao, and it is still due from you to Rao. Due to Rao means you have to pay to Rao. What is it for you? Is it an asset? Definitely not, because you have to still pay it to Rao. It means it is your liability, and this accountant has shown that it is showing debit balance. Is it correct? Then due from Iyer, it is okay. Office expenses, okay. Purchases, okay. Commission allowed is also okay. Outstanding expenses, outstanding incomes, sorry. Yeah, this has come for the first time. Outstanding incomes. Okay, you have already given the service, and income you have not yet received. You have not yet received. Is it correct? Then bad debts, it is a loss, I have told. Is it correct? If it is written on the debit side, sales, is it correct? Like that, you have to check each and every item, and if it is not written properly, capital, is it a credit item? Furniture and fixtures, is it a credit balance showing account? Like that, you have to look at all these items given in the trial balance prepared by not so knowledgeable accountant, and you have to rectify this. Yes, then write the heading as on 31st March 98, trial balance as on. Then write the serial number, heads of accounts or names of the accounts, ledger folio on debit and credit. Right. Then capital, liability, you know it. Due to Raw is a liability. Bank overdraft is a liability. This can happen only by a businessman. That is in case of current accounts. This you know it already, I believe. Then furniture, fixtures, asset due from Iyer. Iyer will be paying you. So it is an asset. Loose tools is an asset. Office expenses, debit expenses. Purchases, definitely an expense. It has to be on the debit side. So what you have to do is write all the items or the names of the accounts as is given in the problem. In the order it is given there, preferably. It need not be in the order, but better it is in the order. There is no such compulsion. But take care that you are not omitting even a single account, and then the corresponding amount while writing, be a little careful. So commission allowed is an expense. Outstanding expenses is a liability. Outstanding expenses means expenses you had to pay and you have not yet paid. I think you understood. Expenses you had to pay already, but you have not yet paid. It is still due from you, means it is a liability from your side. Then returns inward. Yes, I have told in the previous problem. Returns inward means sales returns, opposite of sales. Then outstanding incomes. You have already given the service, but the person who received service from you he has not given you, or they have not given you that amount, but it will definitely reach you on one or the other day. That is why treat it as an asset. Then reserve fund. Yes, reserve fund is an item which is created out of the profits of the company, and to face certain contingencies, and as it is prepared, as it is been as the amount has been taken from the profits which is belonging to the shareholders of the company. Definitely reserve fund is also belonging to the shareholders of the company. Definitely it is not an asset of the company, so write it on the liability side. Then bad debts is a loss. Our debtor has failed to make payment to us. He had purchased from us, but he failed to pay that 1200 to us. So that is a loss for us, debit loss. Cash in hand and an asset, debit. Sales, credit, because it is an item of income. or else if you treat it as a real account, that is a goods account. In case of sales, goods are going out, that means credit what goes out. So in both the cases, even if you treat sales account and even this purchases account either as a real account or nominal account, the treatment will be the same thing. So after taking care that all the items that are given in the improper trial balance is being taken properly here, not even omitting even a single account, and writing the corresponding amounts in the corresponding columns properly, finally make the totals of both the columns, debit balance column and credit balance column. And even here it is the same amount is there, 30,130. This is what we call tallying of the trial balance. So this is definitely a very easy topic. If you solve one or two problems from the textbook or from the question paper, previous year's question papers, definitely it will be easy for you. So try out a few more sums, preferably from the question papers, so that you can gain confidence that you can solve problems very easily on this. And take care, once again, all assets are showing debit balances, liabilities, capital and liabilities, credit balances, debtors, debit balance, creditors, credit balance, all expenses and losses, debit balances, and all incomes and gains, credit balance. So taking care of that, okay, just prepare a few more trial balances from the question papers. Definitely you will be able to gain more confidence. So in this session we solved two problems regarding this trial balance, solve a few more problems on the same thing, so that you will be able to understand this concept as well as understand preparation of the same thing, and it should be easy for you. And if you want to have further readings on this, maybe the theoretical aspect, or maybe if you want to solve a few more sums from the textbooks, these are the books I referred even preparing this material: Basic Accounting by B.S. Raman and Accountancy by Dr. T.V. Raju and Dr. K. Sheshmurthy. You can also refer this book. Thank you.